Hey guys, it's Andrea here from Crafters Support. Happy Dr. Seuss's birthday. Today is Read Across America, March 2nd, and this is like a day that is near and dear to my heart. I love this day. If you guys don't know, I am a homeschooler. I've taught preschool for pretty much all of my adult life career whenever I did work, and my daughter is dyslexic and she struggled for years in the public school system. And long story short, we pulled her out and we worked with her, and we went through weeks and months of tears and struggling and frustration and trying to help her. And then we just kept reading, and Dr. Seuss were the books that we really worked with her. My husband and I would sit and have contests and read Dr. Seuss books with her and really just try to make it fun and exciting. And I'm proud to say that she is a senior and she is reading grade level and doing amazing, and she's going to change the world. So don't give up on your struggling reader. I'm going to try to find some things to post below for you guys. If you are struggling with dyslexia, or if you have, concerns, please go to our Facebook page, Crafters Support, and feel free to message me. Like, I am an advocate for these kids, and we really need to be helping our struggling readers. It can change their life. All right, so enough of that. I just had to get that in there. We're starting off with a 3-inch piece of poster board from Cricut, and you can use any thick cardstock that you want to use. And then we're going to use this Lama paper that she picked out when we were at Hobby Lobby. And I cut the white poster board. I can't think of what that's called now. The white poster board at 3 inches by 12 inches. And I'm cutting the mat that we're going to put over it, which is the Lama paper. And I'm going to cut that at 2 3/4 inches by 12 inches. Now we're going to trim that down, so it's not going to stay 12 inches for your bookmark. But then as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I want a full Lama on the bookmark. So I look at the next little section that I would be cutting at 3 inches, and I see that I'll have 2 full Lamas. So I go ahead and just eye up my paper and make another cut. I'll still use that other piece, but this is mainly for the bookmark, so I wanted it to look a specific way. So now that I have that cut and trimmed, I like the border. It's about 1/4 inch. And it will be 1/4 inch all the way around once I cut everything down. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take 5 inches off of this piece. So by taking the 5 inches off the 12, we all know that that's 7 inches. So the actual bookmark is going to be 7 inches long by 3 inches wide. So whenever we cut our mat, which is the Lama paper, we're going to cut it at 6 3/4 by 2 3/4, and that's what gives us the really nice edge around, the white edge around. And you could use any color paper you want in the back, but I just thought the white looked really nice with the Lamas. So we have it cut. It's ready to go. We're also going to make a tassel for this one, guys, because I just thought it was so cute. Now I am using my Tombow tape runner, which I'm not really sure what happened. I just bought it from Michael's, but it's not working the way that their tape runners normally work. I've never really had any issues with them before, so I'm not sure if it's just because I just started using it, that it was brand new and it just needed to kind of get into the groove, but I had some struggles with it. So you can use glue if you wanted to as well. I just think glue on this thinner paper from Hobby Lobby shows through a lot. So something to think about. If you're using a thicker decorative paper, then go for it. But I noticed the Hobby Lobby paper is pretty thin. So there, I just made sure I had that white border all the way around. I'm pressing it down, and now I'm going to go into the side of the board, and I'm going to punch the hole for the center of the bookmark. So right here you really can't see them because they're the same color as the board, but there's lines that line up to 3 inches, and that's what will give you your center mark. So you just, whether it's like 1 inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, it has a line there for you to put on either side. And now I'm using the envelope punch to round my corners. Now, I am using very thick paper here, so it did give me a little bit of a struggle, but it ended up working out fine in the end. But I did have to kind of mess with it because I didn't want it to ruin the paper. But I think it was a combination of the thickness of the paper and the fact that the tape runner hadn't pressed it down and wasn't holding quite the way I like. So I just had to add some things, and eventually it all worked out perfectly fine, and it turned out super cute. So, sometimes we have to make adjustments on things that we have an idea in our head and then we have to figure out something else. So now we're going to make the tassel, and these are the little tabs, or pegs is what they're called. And we just grab the book and it tells you basically really simple. You have 2 tabs close together and then 1 tab as far apart as you want the length. At the bottom of the ruler here, there are letters. So you have numbers on top, letters on the bottom, and then you just pick the letters, the lettered holes that you want to put your tassel in. So like I said, I decided on 4 away from the 2 pegs. So I went from the 2 pegs close together. I end up moving it 1 more because right now it's at 3, but I end up moving it 4 away. And this yarn I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I was just going to cut it and make my own start. But then I remember somebody told me don't ever do that. I don't remember who told me that, but I remember they told me not to do it. So then I decided, no, I'll just mess around till I find the loose piece, and it worked out for me. So now what I'm going to do is there's 2 close together, 1 4 away, and I'm going to measure out 6 inches to start, or no, I'm sorry, I'm going to tie here. So you tie your first piece of yarn to the peg that's furthest away from the others. So I just make a double knot, and then I just begin wrapping. So the original one that I made, I wrapped it like 20 times, and it was way too thick and big, and it was a little bit hard to kind of deal with for a bookmark. So this time I decided to just do 10, and it worked out perfectly. So I'm making 10 wraps, and then once I get to that 10th wrap, I hold it tight between my ring finger and my middle finger, and that's how I get it to stay tight while I'm cutting. So you can see me like pinch it there, it's nice and tight, and then I'm going to trim it out, and then I'm just going to pull, like keep the tautness to it so that it doesn't loosen any of the other pieces up, because that was an issue the last time. And I'm just tying it to that original piece that I started with. So just make a double knot, and it's ready to go to our next step. So the next thing I want to do that was not in the book, I'm measuring out, first of all, I'm going to measure out 6 inches, which is the piece that's going to tie the tassel separate from the top loop, and that goes at the bottom of the second peg. But now I'm going to take a 12-inch piece of yarn, and I'm going to cut that to be the actual string that goes on the bookmark. So I'm going to trim that out, and then I'm going to pull it up between all of the loops. So I'm going to come up through the center of the actual tassel, and I'm going to pull it up through, and then I'm going to tug it off to the right. So it's going to go clear to the right over around like that first peg, and we're going to keep it there for now. And then I'm going to pull a piece around the 6-inch piece. I'm going to take and I'm going to pull it close to the second peg, and I'm going to make a nice tight knot. Now, again, originally whenever I made this, the knot, I tied it so tight that it bent the little pegs, like they got really close together, and I was worried about them breaking, but they didn't. So this time I was making it tight, but just kind of giving myself like not as much tightness. And then I'm going to trim off at the bottom, and we're going to carefully pull all of the pieces off, keeping that 12-inch piece of yarn off to the right. So now that we have that, I'm just going to do like a balloon tie. I'm not really sure what the knot is called, but I'm just going to do a balloon tie at the top of the 2 pieces that were not tied together. And that's going to be what secures that nothing's going to fall out. And then I'm just going to trim those off. And then the next thing I want to do is make a knot at the very top of the tassel. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to spin the loop that I just made a knot in, and I'm going to tuck that knot inside the top loop. Then I'm going to do another balloon tie, but this time I'm going to tuck the entire tassel through it, so that way the knot stops at the top of the tassel. So you're going to want to like kind of tug down a little bit to make sure your knot stays at the top of the tassel, and then the original knot that you made is going to be hidden inside the tassel. So the next thing you want to do is find the center of your loops, and you're going to want to go ahead and trim those out. Now, if you decide to use like a thin, like floss or something to make your tassels, you could leave them looped. Like a lot of really fancy, like I remember going to the Christian bookstore and they'd have like fancy little bookmarks, and they were done with a real delicate string. They were looped and they were never cut. So like you could leave it all looped together if you're happy with how it looks. But I decided to trim mine off and make it look all pom-pommy and super cute. So now it's ready to go. So you have your nice loop at the top, and what you're going to do is you're going to come in from behind your bookmark through that hole that was made. You're going to stick your thumb and your pointer finger in it and just kind of do a little opening to stick your tassel through, and then you're just going to tug. And it's that simple to make a really cute bookmark. So you can laminate the bookmarks before you put the tassel on. You'll just have to re-punch the hole. But these would be super cute. I know for schools you're not allowed to take, a lot of schools they don't allow you to take food or snacks or anything like that in, but to give a cute little gift, a bookmark would be a really great idea for Read Across America Week. It's all week, and it's celebrated in schools throughout the country. And it's just an amazing week, and it's really cool to see these little kids whenever they grasp the concept of reading. So here it is in one of my books, and I read multiple books at a time. Like I'm always doing different Bible studies with different groups. So I have multiple books. I love bookmarks. I just think they're super fun. My friend Sam made me a shirt that said bookmarks are for quitters. I thought that was hilarious. So I still have a shirt. She made it for me a long time ago, or she bought it. I don't know, but it turned out super cute, and I wear that all the time. But I just really like bookmarks. And like I said, this would make a great little gift. And yeah, so I do have, I show you in the planner. So this is the Agenda 52 planner. There's a video going up on Saturday of the setup of this planner. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I really, really like this planner. And for all the more I paid for it at Hobby Lobby, I'm super thrilled. So this is just a little sneak peek at it, but I love it. So here I can put bookmarks in here. You can make them thinner, longer, wider. You can cut them in different shapes if you want to use the tab punch or the tab on the tag punch on this board. All different things you can do with it. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor, go get a good book and just sit down and binge read today. Instead of watching TV, go binge read a really good book. And I hope to see you all in the next video, and I will talk to you then. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.